Rated mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised. All right, guys, welcome to today's podcast. I'm your host, Mike, and let's get into today's show, guys. I want to talk about this new topic that the media, the establishment media, right, is now admitting that Joe Biden failed to shut down the virus, right? They praised this guy for the entire year last year and prior to that, oh, Joe Biden is the guy, right, to do everything right. Like I said, last year they even praised this guy. Oh, he's gonna shut down coronavirus. He's gonna end it all. He's gonna be bigger and better than Trump. Yeah. Like, has he? What are your thoughts? Listen to today's episode, guys, and take a ride along, so to speak, to this episode and see just what I'm saying makes a little sense. Got a lot more on the show, guys. Tune in today. Patriot Unfiltered. Broadcasting from the Big Peach of Atlanta, Georgia. A show unfiltered, unscripted, raw. The Patriot Angle Podcast. So the media, guys, is now admitting that President Joe Biden failed to shut down the Chinese coronavirus. Just earlier today, the established media, they finally came out on the record and said, oh, yeah, Biden didn't really end coronavirus as much as we thought it might. And then they're also saying, guys, that the Omicron variant, right, this new deadly variant, right, it's that they're pretty much showcasing throughout the general media, right? I mean, they're pushing this thing like it's candy, like, oh, it's the most deadliest variant that's out there. It's more deadlier than Delta and coronavirus itself. And then, of course, the shortage of testing kits. Well, that's a shocker, huh? There's no more testing kits. Are they doing that on purpose so they can keep this new variant alive and well, right? So they can push the hell out of it, politicize the hell out of it? Well, I mean, everything is coming together now, as we're approaching 2022, right? Just a couple more days, we'll be into 2022. Now, this, folks, is coming after Biden literally promised last year in 2020 to shut down the virus, not the country. That was his words, guys. He's going to shut down the virus, but he won't shut the country down. Well, what the hell did he mean by that? You're going to shut a virus down, but you're not going to shut a country down? Folks, we've seen flip-flopping on that scenario throughout the entire year and a half, almost 2 years. They locked us in our homes. They shut businesses down. They destroyed small business. They're destroying the youth in schooling. Folks, we're seeing it all over the place. They're pushing these vaccines like it's the end-all type of scenario. Like, take the vaccine or you're going to, or think bad things are going to happen to you. But did you notice one thing, folks? The establishment media, right? Here's something that I noticed here, and I'm going to go into this article here. That the media noticed that Biden conceded Monday there is no federal solution. He said this. in a briefing, which I'm going to try to find that clip so I can plug into the show later on in the episode, that he said there's no federal solution to shut the pandemic down. They're finally admitting, folks, that they have no answers to this. But they're just going to run the coattail, so to speak, as long as they possibly can. Because that is the only political message that they can use, is this pandemic. They don't have anything on the economy. They don't have anything on jobs. They don't have anything on the borders, immigration, foreign control, domestic control. They don't have anything, folks. They don't. There's nothing that they have. More than 9 months later, folks, Biden is now admitting not enough has been done. Well, no shit. You're just starting to see that there, Joe? I mean, oh boy. President Joe Biden, guys, and his team repeatedly promised more COVID-19 testing, including at-home kits that were delivered rapid results. But they are now admitting a virus that is more adaptable than the politicians who fight it has outpaced them again. Biden's efforts. We're seeing the president praising this from January, right? This past January. That Biden had a plan to unveil the COVID-19 plan based on science, not politics. He had a plan. This is a president, folks, that at once, and still is to this day, blaming the past president, criticizing President Trump for his poor handling of the coronavirus pandemic and his decisive bullying conduct in office. Biden at once said that Trump had broken promises related to coronavirus. President Trump didn't do enough, Biden was saying. And then this is going, folks, that the president, this past March, even made a bet the vaccine, right, could return the country to some semblance of normalcy, promising a summer of freedom. That's what the president had said. Oh, these vaccines are going to give us a summer of freedom. We've seen Biden praising the hell out of this plan. Sadly, what we saw this week was an administration floundering and a president not in command of facts or willing to shift course in any way on the pandemic. Monday, now let me just say what happened Monday, right? Monday, Biden had stated anyone who is responsible for that many deaths should not remain as president of the United States. Oh, okay. So what about all the deaths that occurred in America during the now almost going full year of President Biden? Shouldn't he be responsible for all the cases and the coronavirus deaths and everything else? I mean, that's according to what Joe Biden had said, right? This past Monday, he stated that. Let me repeat it. Anyone who is responsible for that many deaths should not remain as president of the United States of America. That was Joe Biden's direct quote. according to a new report. Yet the New York Times reported in November that the United States has accumulated more corona deaths under Biden than under Trump, despite vaccine availability. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So what is that saying, folks? Was Trump more responsible for tackling COVID-19 than Biden? And then listen to this, folks. He was wrong last year when he suggested that any politician had the power to control the pandemic. This is what the Journal wrote, another newspaper. Now that Mr. Biden is in office, as the Omicron variant refuses to be shut down, so to speak, it would be politically convenient for a time frame for Biden to acknowledge the virus reality. First of all, folks, I applaud some establishment of the media. The New York Times finally admitting, folks, that this is being more politicized for a political agenda than public safety. The more people figure this out, the faster we get back to reality. That's my opening statement, guys. We'll be right back after these words. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome to Bardot, Pitch Day, Bitcoin 2021.
We're going to raise a lot of money.
Yes, we 12 months to do about $1 billion a day.
Now, we set out to answer the question, what does it look like to live on Bitcoin?
How do you guys make money?
Really excited for pitches here.
So you would be the first on Earth to get this, because I don't know anywhere else you can do this either.
That's correct.
And the solution to energy waste is Bitcoin mining.
Try out new technologies like Bitcoin.
Interesting idea.
Lightning allows us to
Run the first real proper NFT platform on Bitcoin.
Truly permissionless and censorship resistant.
Yeah, there we go. Come on up. All right.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it, will be to save Texas. To do so, you must recruit an exceptional team of congressional candidates. They must be courageous, patriotic, and absolutely fearless. Time is of the essence. The nation's future is dependent upon your success.
Still know how to fly one of these things? Dan Crenshaw. I'm putting the team together, Wesley. You in?
You know I wouldn't miss this for the world, right? Wait. I think August is going to want to come too.
You guys looking for a real pilot? Let me get cleaned up.
You're an F-22 pilot. What were you doing working under a helicopter? I have no idea what I was doing, but typical Air Force fixing the Army's problems.
This guy, Dan, bro, you could have just texted me, man. Why you gotta jump out of an airplane? It's still even way
Because
easier.
it's cooler to jump. Never mind.
How can you...
And I want to thank these officers for a job well done.
Hey, Beth, when you're finished over there, Texas could use your help.
What the...
Hey, Tony. Texas has a better use for your talents.
Hey guys, who's next?
No.
I got this.
Patriot Unfiltered Raw.
COVID-19 COVID-19 has been hitting this country hard. We have the tools to combat the virus. If we can come together as a country and use those tools, if we raise our vaccination rate, protect ourselves and others with masking, expanded testing, and identify people who are infected, we can and we will turn the tide on COVID-19.
You remember that, folks? That was when Biden announced his plan about 3 months ago. 3 months ago. To stop the Delta variant. This was the Delta variant now, right? That was about 3 months ago that he was going to stop this new variant back then, 3 months ago, Delta. And he was also planning to boost the COVID vaccinations, right? Fast forward later, folks, right? Fast forward later. Now, Biden is admitting that there is no federal solution for COVID-19, right? Check this out now.
As a share for.
Yeah. He's admitting, folks, that there's no vaccination that can save us. Check this out.
We do not let federal solutions stand in the way of state solutions.
Look, there is no federal solution. This gets solved at a state level, and it ultimately gets down to where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah. There's no federal solution for COVID-19. He's now saying that, folks. He's now saying that the solution that he praised earlier this year, and it even went into the summer, that there's no solution. So he's now admitting his own failed agendas to the general public. He knows that he can't do anything. Test. Why the hell does everyone run out still and get a test? Why? I love to understand this. Why? Right? So is that what they're going to do for the next, possibly 2.5 years until 2024? They're going to come out with these variants? Every time there's a variant, everybody runs to the damn drugstore, runs to the damn COVID vaccination sites, and gets a test. Why does everyone go out and get a test every time there is a variant? Seriously. Ask yourself a question. Do you run out and get a test every time you think you have a cold or flu? Do you? Probably the neurotic ones do. I got to go get my medication. I'm not feeling well. Sorry, I'm getting a little blunt over the podcast here, but it's true, guys. It's true. You see the numbers go up in margins every time there's a new variant. They politicize the hell out of it. Oh, there's messages, there's commercials all over the freaking TV. Go get your variant. Come on, sheeple. Go get your go get your vaccinations. Come on, sheep. Right? All the sheep will go out and go get their vaccinations. Because Uncle Joe there, Uncle Joe Basement, Biden there, said that it's time to get your booster shots. Why is everyone such in a rush to get these things? Are you folks really that naive as a person? But here's something here, folks. I don't think a majority are getting tested simply because there are a new variant. This is somewhat of the majority of the population here in the country. The majority aren't getting tested simply because there is a new variant. Some, right? But since many are vaccinated, I would love to think their words. I'd love to ask them these words. Are they getting tested to see if Omicron has defeated the vaccine? Because if there was a chance you caught a deadly virus, wouldn't you want to get tested? Right? Let's just imagine that this thing was more deadlier than they say it is. Wouldn't you want to know that your participation in these vaccines are actually beating this thing? I mean, that's kind of like an apparent question, right? Also, apparently, it's completely pointless to get these vaccines because every time you get a vaccine, they're going to come out with another variant. That's the excuse, folks, that they're doing. Every time you get the vaccine, right? And they see that their sheeple are going to get the shots, the jabs, that's when the new variant comes out. And then that's when booster number 5, booster number 6, booster number 7, booster number 8. I mean, you get the point, right? It's completely pointless, folks. Completely pointless. Let's use common sense in this, all of this. If you see somebody sick, do you have to be explained to stay 6 feet away from them? Do you have to be explained by the federal government to wash your hands for 20 seconds with warm water and soap? Do you have to explain, do you have to be explained to wear fucking masks? You don't have to wear a mask. Use common sense. You see somebody sick, walk the other direction. Are we adults, folks? Are we children? Seriously. Medical tyranny is a good way to word all of this. It is. Listen to more of this clown show of an administration.
President Biden agreeing with Republican governors that there are no federal solutions to the pandemic, despite his administration's push for more mandates.
Tommy Lauren, Fox Nation host, joins us right now. And Tommy, this is so confusing because it seems to be that all President Biden has are federal responses. The federal vaccine mandates for large employers, the mask mandates. Is he confused? Is it hypocritical? I don't. What's going on there?
this might have been a classic case of a Freudian slip where he admitted that there really is no federal solution, that he really has no plan to tackle COVID. And this comes after several tweets that have now been uncovered from not too long ago where he was going after Donald Trump at the start of the pandemic for not having a solution to COVID. But there is a rare instance here where I agree with President Joe Biden. There isn't a federal solution to COVID. Everyone has to be safe. They have to be responsible. They have to wash their hands, stay home if they're sick. If they can get their hands on a test, which is difficult right now, then they should do that. But there isn't going to be some big federal solution that's going to solve COVID. It's been nearly 2 years now. I think we can all admit that. We're going to have to learn to live with COVID and cope with it the best that we can.
I think we can all expect that cleanup, that now daily occurrence that we find from the White House press office on moments where Joe Biden says something that needs to be cleaned up the very next day. I want to get your thoughts on this before we conclude. A second California Department of Education official resigning after being called out.
All right, folks, I'm going to stop it right there because, Tomi Lahren, big conservative podcast host. I follow her a lot. I completely agree with you. But here's the marker, folks, right? If you think COVID is different from the flu, then go to the ER and ask to be tested for COVID. If you think that it's different, then do what you think is right. Seriously. I mean, aren't we Americans? I mean, aren't we supposed to make decisive, educated decisions, right? I mean, boy. Here's another quote, so to speak, in a bombshell of the nutshell, right? Just think of this, folks, that 2.6 million people die yearly in the USA of high cholesterol, right? Does the media talk about that? No. It's not even on their agenda. You know why? Because COVID is the money maker in the media, not high cholesterol. They can care less about high cholesterol. If they cared about high cholesterol, they'd be talking about it every single day. They would have their scoreboard, so to speak, on the media of people with cases of high cholesterol, people dying of high cholesterol. 2.6 million people die yearly in the USA of high cholesterol, but it's not on the scoreboard. COVID is on the scoreboard, not cholesterol. COVID is not the plague that's going to wipe us out, folks. The plague that's going to wipe us out is big government. Because they're all in this, folks, for population control. That's all it is, folks. It's more about population control than it is about public safety. I mean, if you don't see that, folks, you're just as blind as the next person next to you. But here's something else too, folks, that information is information. It can be used as a weapon. And that's what they're doing. They're weaponizing the hell out of this pandemic. Weaponizing the hell out of it. Because they don't have a message. They don't have a message. To deliver to the American people. Got a lot more here on the show. Don't go anywhere, guys. Patriot, unfiltered, raw. Your host, Mike Gardner, a host like no other.
Politics
politicians prospered, the establishment protected itself, but not the citizens of our country. Their victories have not been your victories. Their triumphs have not been your triumphs. That all changes starting right here and right now. From this day forward, a new vision will govern our land. It's going to be only America first, by American and higher American. No challenge can match the heart and fight and spirit of America. We will not fail. Our country will thrive and prosper again. We will reinforce old alliances and form new ones and unite the civilized world against radical Islamic terrorism, which we will eradicate completely from the face of the earth. We will be protected by the great men and women of our military and law enforcement. We will bring back our jobs. We will bring back our borders. We will bring back our wealth. And we will bring back our dreams. We will face challenges. We will confront hardships. But we will get the job done. Together, we will determine the course of America and the world for many, many years to come. This moment is your moment. It belongs to you.
All right, guys, welcome back to the show. For those who's just joining, you wanted to fast forward the show. Some people like that. Others listen to the show in the beginning. But, everybody's different. But, we're talking about here on the show that Biden is literally now, I don't know, folks. I don't know if he's confused or he's just, people are saying that he's admitting, I want to elaborate that, I don't think he's admitting, now that I kind of see where this messaging is going and his views and thoughts. I don't think he's more or less admitting. I think he's more or less like, he's confused. You have a nearly a 70-year-old man running the country as the president of the United States. And he realizes, let's use the word, he realizes more than he admits. He somewhat realizes that he can't tackle this thing. Folks, you can't tackle science. Science is science. It changes every hour, every minute, every day of the year. Science is always changing, folks. You can't tackle bacteria. You can come out with the most high-tech of medications, antibodies, everything, folks. You can't tackle science. Science is science. You can say to the world, until the cows come home, I'm gonna end this pandemic. I'm gonna cure cancer. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. Okay, sounds great on on paper. But in reality, can you really tackle it, folks? I mean, that's the $1 million question, right? I mean, no one can tackle this thing. It is what it is. You can't challenge science. Science is science. A lot of people question me, and they're like, Mike, what do you think about science? Is it man-made? To an extent. To an extent, you can manufacture, you can fabricate science to an extent, to a level, but you can't challenge it. You can't tackle it full on. This president needs to understand that. That, like I said, you can come out with all these vaccinations, these booster shots, but you're not ending this pandemic. You're not ending a plague. You're not ending bacteria. You're not destroying it, folks. It's just controlling it. I think people need to understand that, this president isn't God. He's not, Jesus himself. He cannot end this. The Almighty God can end it, but a president does not have that power. And Biden needs to understand that these medications only control, use the word control, folks. They control viruses and bacteria. They do not kill it. You take a Tylenol for a headache, or you take, cold medicine for a simple cold or flu. Are you ending that? Well, it's killing somewhat of the bacteria, but the rest of the bacteria is still in your body, folks. There's bacteria in our bodies every single day. Our bodies need some form of bacteria to build up our immune system. You know, it was taught to me as a young child by my mother and my grandparents that if you continually take medication, you are weakening your natural antibodies in your body to fight off viruses and bacteria. Because the medication, what it does over time is it breaks down the elements in your body to fight off all that bacteria. Now, the more you put artificial crap into your body, whether it's through liquid form, pill form, or if you get a shot in the arm with that type of medication. Folks, just picture that. What do you think you're doing to your body? Are you weakening your system? Are you improving it? Like, what do you think you're doing to that body? Your body. You're destroying it. Wake up, folks. Understand what the hell you're doing. You're fucking destroying your body. But Mike, if we were destroying our body, the CDC would let us know. No, stop listening to the federal government, the CDC, and all that bullshit. Listen to your gut. You know, as we're getting into, almost the top of the hour of the podcast, I hope I'm drawing somewhat of knowledge into your brain, right? Into your mind. Understanding reality for what it is. Folks, you cannot tackle science. Science is science. That's simply what it is, folks. I got here another video here I'd like to plug into the show. Maybe this will elaborate to my listeners here, the followers of the Patriot Angle podcast, through, my social media and through my audio podcast platforms such as Google, Spotify, and Apple. Just listen to this video. Listen to the video. If you want to drop me a comment here on the show, you can do that on my Spotify channel. On the bottom of the episode, you'll see a little Q&A comment there. I'm going to put right after the show here on that. So as you're listening to the show, you can do it before, you can do it afterwards. Just listen to this. And if you'd like, comment your answer to this. Seriously. What you thought of this video I'm about to plug into the show.
We saw headlines like this. Florida had become the 23rd Republican-led state to end pandemic unemployment benefits early. The goal was to incentivize people to return to work. Yet with the politics over vaccine mandates heating up, critics say some of these states are now incentivizing people to quit their jobs. At least 5 Republican-led states have extended unemployment benefits to people who've lost their jobs over vaccine mandates. They include Florida, Arkansas, Iowa, Kansas, and Tennessee. 3 more states are considering the idea as well, and this could be just the beginning. Joining me now is Dr. Zeke Emanuel, former member of then-President-elect Biden's COVID Advisory Board. Dr. Emanuel, unemployment benefits usually are to help someone along who has lost their job through no fault of their own. The conventional scenario, they work at a factory, the factory lost a big contract, they're now out of work, they didn't cause it. With that prism, what do you make of this?
Well, I don't like this incentive at all. I think this basically says people who are rejecting the vaccine, mainly because of they're against vaccinations, are actually are doing social harm, and now governors are rewarding them. That is a very bad incentive, and just the opposite of what the country needs.
What's the real...
They're doing social harm. There's the Q&A, folks. I know you're probably listening to the podcast here episode, and you're like, Mike, where's the Q&A? Here's the Q&A, guys. Here's the question that's going to be posted on the episode. Do you think that governors, right? Because mainly they're Republican-led states. They're governors. They're Republican governors. And 5 so far, 5 GOP-led states are literally extended unemployment benefits to the unvaccinated. Well, they're quitting their jobs because they don't want to get vaccinated. They don't want to be pushed to extreme harm levels by their employers by getting the jab. They don't want to get the jab, folks. That's their body, their choice. Keep on praising that. Praise it. Praise it to that liberal and say, hey, buddy, it's my body, my choice. Just like the woman. If she doesn't want to have that baby, she has that right to abort that baby. It's called abortion. Well, if that applies to a woman aborting a baby from her womb because she doesn't want to carry out that baby to the full term and deliver that baby, well, that's her choice, right? That's her constitutional choice. Well, isn't it our constitutional choice to literally reject any vaccination or medical shot if we do not want to take it? Isn't it medical tyranny to force any American under the constitutional Bill of Rights in order to keep your job? Isn't that tyranny, folks? But these CDC nut jobs and the federal government, they don't see it like that. Oh, it's different from abortions. How is it different? How is it different? It's still medical choice, is it not? Listen to more of this. Listen to more of this, and then you can give me the comment on the Q&A. Because I'd love to hear just who's listening to the episode here, the podcast. I'd love to hear your comments. It's okay. You want to leave a negative comment or you want to leave a positive comment? I welcome all types of comments, guys. Listen to more of this shit.
Real purpose. Do you think it's to undermine the president's vax mandate in the name of individual liberty?
I don't think it's in the name of individual liberty. It's in the name of politics. No person who was present at the founding of this country, Franklin, Washington, Madison, Hamilton, would endorse this idea of liberty. Liberty always involved the idea that you can do what you want as long as you don't impinge on someone else. And that is not what's happening here. People who stay unvaccinated are impinging on other people. They're propagating the virus. They're going to hospitals that are overloaded if they happen to get very sick.
Oh, shut up. Shut him off. Who the hell is this jackass? Oh, he's the former Biden transition team COVID-19 advisor. It's Dr. Ezekiel Emanuel. Just said yesterday. And he voiced his opposition to the unemployment benefits for unvaccinated workers who lose their jobs over COVID-19. And then he goes, did you hear the sound clip I plugged into the show? Then he goes into saying that I don't think that our four founding fathers would implement this decision. I don't think they would. How do you know what they would do? Were you around some 120, 30, 200 years ago? Were you around during that time? During the early stages of America, colonial America, the 13 original colonies? Were you around when America was building up our freedom, our democracy? Were you around when Lincoln and George Washington were signing literally their death warrants to the Constitution, knowing that this was the only way to secure our sovereignty, our moral background as a country, as a nation, to deliver freedom, liberties, and democracy? No, you weren't around because you weren't thought of, you jackass. Don't tell me that you don't think that these great men, these four great men, our four founding fathers, would agree to what's going on. Don't tell me that they wouldn't agree to workers rejecting vaccines, that they're doing social harm to America. Yeah, basically this socialist commie of a doctor says that governors are now rewarding people for doing social harm by extending unemployment benefits to unvaccinated. Oh, they're doing social harm? No, they're backing their citizens' constitutional rights for rejecting an experimental drug known as these vaccines, because these vaccines are not FDA approved. Even though they're lying to the public that they're FDA approved, they're not, folks. They're just slapping a fucking label on these things saying that they are. They're not FDA approved, folks. They're lying to you. Plain and simple. Wake up, understand it, and realize all of this is crap. It's crap in a nutshell. Seriously. I want to get into this other thing here. Sarah Palin, literally on Joe Biden, and what she thinks. She's now saying that it's too late to get through to him. Way too late. Listen to this. Sarah Palin. All remember Sarah Palin, right? Sarah Palin, literally. Yeah, check this out, guys.
Biden, and you won. Do you ever think back on that day? That was an unbelievable. I remember watching it. I was applauding the whole time.
Well, you were like 12.
Yeah, you might recall, I was an early adopter. I was in the Palin fan groups back when I was in college.
Amazing.
Before I met Andrew, even. But he's president now, and I know that it's probably a little bit fun to know that you were right on so many things. But I bet you would like to get through to him. What would you like to offer him if you had any advice?
I just have to believe that he personally cannot. He can't believe in some of the stuff that he's doing. He just can't. How could you? And I think it's too late though to get through to him. Right. But as for that debate, and I've never rewatched it. I've never rewatched any speech.
Wow.
No, nothing. I just can't. But I know that based on the people who were a part of that campaign and tried to get you to say things that if I had to do it all over again, oh my goodness, if they thought that I was going rogue back then, what I would do today to expose the crap that was going on in that campaign, the people who were running it, who are now the MSNBC darlings, people needed to know their nefarious reasons for being involved in that campaign. And, I think people still don't know to this day how bad these folks were who were running John McCain's campaign.
Yeah, that was an interview with Breitbart News, Alex Marlow, literally just questioning former Alaska Governor Sarah Palin, what her advice to Joe Biden would be. That you gotta love her. I mean, she's a conservative woman trying to fight for the American voice, trying to fight for the American conservative, trying to save this country. I mean, I'm trying to do the same thing as a podcast host. I'm trying to wake people up and understand that there's a lot of tyranny coming out of this administration. Medical tyranny. There's your freedoms, your liberties are being attacked every single day. They're exposing the hell out of everything. They're using COVID as a excuse. They're politicizing the hell out of it. And some people are they're not realizing it. They think that this administration is on their side when they're not. They're not on your side. Folks, they are putting your livelihood at risk by forcing vaccines down your throats in order to have somewhat of a normalcy of a life, to have a job, to travel, whether it's through airplane, public transportation. Some of my friends that use public transportation, whether it's trains or buses, some of them are saying that these people are literally walking up and down train station platforms. Like the new mask police. You got to put your mask on. You got to put your mask on. Have we become the new Nazi Germany? Has America become a modern version of Nazi Germany? We all know how that ended. Show me your papers if you want to enter this building. Well, do we have to show our papers, our vaccination cards? And if we don't have a vaccination card, we have to put a mask on to enter a building in order to partake in our constitutional rights as a citizen? Seriously, is this America or is it Nazi Germany? Seriously. Here's more on Sarah Palin, now urging conservatives to get more involved in culture and politics. Like I said, a conservative warrior. Sarah Palin.
So reflect on your legacy, because a lot of people, including all of us at Breitbart, see you as sort of the precursor to Trump. I think a lot of the things that pushed Trump across the finish line was what got so many of us out to the polls to vote for the McCain-Palin ticket in 2008. Speak to this in terms of where we are at this moment and that populist movement within the conservative.
I ratchet it down to there are more of us than there are of them. Yeah. And if you think about it, though, like just common sense constitutional conservatives, we're busy, raising kids, raising families, running businesses. So not super engaged in that arena, duking out in the battle of ideas on TV or whatever, as pundits do. But there are more of us than there are of them. So as more and more Americans, though, average Joe six-pack American gets fed up with what's going on, and we're seeing how rapidly things are eroding when it comes to the foundation of what it means to be an American, more and more people are getting engaged, and that's a really, really good sign. And people have to be sacrificial when it comes to like their time and their resources. Yeah, I know, you guys, you're busy, kids, businesses, and everything else. Yes. But you know what? Yes. You better prioritize to give yourself some time to get engaged in culture, in politics, to affect change.
Yeah. Sarah Palin nailing it on the spot. We as conservatives, folks, we need to get more involved in our modern culture and the politics around us, because these politics, folks, that we're seeing from this administration of Biden is setting us back years and years. And what's going on with all this? They want to use this COVID crap to silence our constitutional rights. Again, folks, if you cannot see this, you need to wake up. Wake up. For the sake of yourself, for the sake of your family, for the sake of your children. Think of that last one, your children. Do it for their generation. Because if we do not save this country, folks, the next generation that comes through this country, our children, our grandchildren, will suffer the ultimate demise from this radical left of a party. It's time to secure our freedoms. It is time to secure our liberties. It is time to bring back America and end the tyranny that's going on in it. Folks, thank you for tuning in to today's podcast. Remember, you can hear me and follow me everywhere you hear a podcast, including Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts, and anywhere you might listen to a podcast. We are viewed in about 15 countries and growing, which is phenomenal. And I thank the Patriot Angle Nation of followers and listeners that choose to listen to us. Thank you very much. If you want to hear this show continue, please share it with 5 friends and have 5 friends share it as well. Also, too, guys, you can check me out on our official website, which is patriotanglepodcast.com. Again, www.patriotanglepodcast.com. And also, too, guys, you can support our page by visiting our official merchandise website at www.patriot patriotunfiltered.com. Again, it's www.patriotunfiltered.com. If you missed the websites, guys, I will also put them in the show notes on the audio podcasts on Spotify, Google, and Apple. They'll be in the show notes, so you could check that out. Also, too, guys, you can check us out on Facebook, the Patriot Angle Podcast, including Instagram, Patriot_Angle_Unfiltered. Follow me on social media. A lot of our content is always plugged into both of those social media accounts. And I thank you for joining our podcast today. It's been a privilege. It's been an honor. And we'll see you on the next one. You just heard an episode of the Patriot Angle Podcast, an Anchor platform.